Attack, attack. This means war. No. I don't know what the hell this is. I really don't know what to call this. People call this hardcore. People call this electronic core, crab core, bazooka core, fuck core, porn core, Chrysler core. I don't know. I don't care. I really don't. But at any rate, this means war. By Attack Attack. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about why this actually sucks. Well, let's talk about why this is actually, music. There's not a lot of elements of why it's music, but there are elements, and we need to explore them. This is an album that's dominated by extremely simple melodies and patterns, if you can call it that. It's core, though. What do you expect? This is not necessarily something that's necessarily going to be all about blowing your mind with a complex melody. They would much rather keep it nice and simple, nice and easy, and have a breakdown be around the corner at all times. And that is accomplished on this album. There are some moments where that is not true. There are some moments where there's some actual music on here. But for most of this album, a breakdown is right around the corner. And that's how a lot of kids, and that's how a lot of people really like it these days. And I don't know why, because it's stupid. It's really dumb. Because it's a very simplistic style. Vocally, I could almost be just as harsh. The vocals are strange. And bear with me whenever I try to describe this, because this is just absolutely ridiculous that I have to try to describe vocals. It's almost as though these were sung two ways. They were growled and they were sung. And then they were combined together in the final mix, because there are just moments where it seems like one is trying to overpower the other, like one mix is trying to overpower the other, and it just creates this very, very awkward effect. It creates a crackly effect, and then of course at times it dives off into those typical, emo, pop punk, whatever you want to call them, softer edge vocals that remind you of every Atreyu album that you've ever listened to, and then you just don't want to hear anymore. I quite honestly there's very little good on this. There's very little good to this period. There is very little good to this period. Finally, the vocals. The vocalist sounds like he has this identity crisis where he's trying to be this pop-punk singer, but at the same time he also wants to be Hatebreed. He wants to be Jamie Josta. He wants to try his best. He wants to write the most simplistic lyrics imaginable, just like Jamie Josta from Hatebreed, and he wants to scream or attempt to pretend like he's screaming until his throat bleeds like Jamie from Hatebreed, and it just doesn't work. It's not believable. A lot of this stuff isn't believable. The one problem with this album is that at some points in time it actually becomes kind of catchy. There are some moments where I can kind of understand the hype. There are some moments on this album where you kind of see it. Because you're buried amid this simplicity. You're a fan that's, typically akin to complex melody and very, stylistic songwriting. You almost get pampered by it. And then you get thrown to something that's as simple as this, and sometimes whenever you hear something that's just a little bit of a break from the monotony of everything else, you just get impressed. And it's the weirdest thing. It's this psychological fucking bullshit, and I don't get it. I don't understand it, but it fucking happens, and it just messes with you. But overall, this is an album that will make a lot of people happy. A lot of hardcore fans, a lot of people who like this kind of stuff will enjoy this album. I, for one, did not find all that great about it. However, I'm not going to sit here and destroy it, because, like I said, during the middle of this, I became so poisoned that I kind of understood it. And that was scary enough. I'm pulling myself away from this dark place and getting back to normal as soon as possible. because this is a scary place. I don't want to be in this place. This place is dark. There's nobody here. I'm all alone with my penis, and I don't even want to touch it because it even looks ashamed of me. So yeah, 5, maybe 5.5. It's not for me though, so let's face it, folks. This is not something that's for me, so that might actually be a pretty damn good score, because 2 years ago this might be a 2. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to rip this album apart. I'm not going to rip this band apart. Yet. Might do it some other time, whenever I'm pissed off for no reason, but not tonight. You're spared. Congratulations.